Okay, graph by finding solutions again. This problem, you might notice it looks slightly different than the others in the sense that the others, we had the y variable isolated. So we had y equals to something, which made it easy for us to compute the y value for every x value. So my advice when you see something like this is start using the algebra you learned a while back. So let's get the y variable by itself first. Instead of just plugging in numbers for x, we could do it that way. We could choose values for x, plug them in, and work it out. But I think it's much easier if we start, and we're going to be doing this later anyhow, by isolating the y variable. So that means let's move this x value across. So if I want to move an entire term, remember you always move a term by adding or subtracting because terms are added or subtracted. So I'm going to start by adding 4x to the left side and to the right side. This is what you did a while back in chapter 3. This eliminates the 4x and it leaves us with this equation. Y equals, because the y is by itself now. Over there, please understand you cannot combine these two terms. One's got an x and one doesn't. So you either write negative 2 plus 4x. That's one option. If I were you, I would get into the habit of writing the x term first. So it would be 4x. We're just going to slide this over a little bit. Minus 2. And once you isolate the y, then you can tell yourself, okay, basically the y value is always going to be 4 times the x value minus 2. So you can choose anything you want for x. And because there's no fractions, I'm just going to choose 0, 1, and 2. And I'm going to do all these in my head. And I want you to start getting comfortable with that. For all of these different x values, let's compute the y value with this relationship, this equation. So if x is 0, y equals 4 times 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2, so negative 2. When x is 1, y equals to 4 times 1, which is 4, minus 2, which is 2. So when x is 1, this is going to be 2. And when x takes on the value of 2, what is my y value going to be? The y value would be 4 times the value of 2, which is 6. My bad, 8. I was already thinking of the answer. 8 minus 2 would be 6. I'm doing these mentally, but if you feel you need to write these down, please write them down. Like for this guy, if my x value is 2, y equals 4 times 2 minus 2, 8 minus 2, which is 6. So there I go. I've got my points. I got the first point, 0, negative 2, which is right there. 1, 2, which is right there. X is 2, y is 6, which is right there. They make a perfect line. We can go ahead and connect these as best we can. Stay along the right pattern. And you should get something like that. The nice thing about it is by finding the solutions here, we've made it easier for ourselves, but the solutions we found here are the same solutions for this. And to prove that to you, you don't have to do this, just for me to prove it to you. Look at this point right here that we found, 2, 6. It's right here. Go back to the very beginning and substitute an x value of 2 and a y value of 6. And let's make sure that this point does indeed satisfy that equation we started with. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 6 equals negative 2. It worked perfectly. All of these points will. But it was easier for us to compute these points or to find these solutions from this equation instead of this one.